Before we start, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Also, let us know where you're watching from and what time you're watching. We'd love to hear from you. The Tesla showroom buzzed with energy as customers explored the sleek electric vehicles on display. Conversations filled the air, families discussing features, potential buyers negotiating deals, and Tesla employees patiently answering questions. The ambient lighting reflected off the shiny cars, creating a futuristic atmosphere that promised innovation and progress. Amid this activity, Mr. Anderson stood at the edge of the showroom floor, his face a portrait of frustration. For weeks, Mr. Anderson had been dealing with a recurring issue in his Tesla, a glitch in the vehicle's software that caused the navigation system to malfunction unpredictably. Despite several trips to the service center and assurances that the problem would be resolved, the issue persisted, leaving him feeling ignored and increasingly disillusioned with the brand he had once admired. Today, he hadn't come to the showroom to browse or purchase. He had come to demand answers. As he watched the employees interact with customers, a simmering annoyance brewed in his chest. He couldn't shake the feeling that his concerns had been swept under the rug, a stark contrast to the customer-first image Tesla projected. He rehearsed his arguments in his head, preparing to demand accountability from a manager or anyone who would listen. Then something caught his eye. At first, he wasn't sure, but as he moved closer, his suspicions were confirmed. Standing near a Model S, dressed casually and speaking with an employee, was Elon Musk himself. The Tesla CEO's presence was unmistakable. His distinct posture, his calm but focused demeanor, and the aura of someone who carried the weight of monumental ideas on his shoulders. It was rare to see someone of Musk's stature in a public setting like this, and for a moment, Mr. Anderson hesitated, unsure whether to approach. The hesitation didn't last long. His frustration, built up over weeks of unresolved issues, pushed him forward. He clenched his fist briefly to steady himself before walking purposefully toward Musk. A few employees and customers noticed the determined man heading for the CEO, their murmurs fading into the background as Mr. Anderson reached him. "Elon," Mr. Anderson began, his voice firm but edged with anger. Musk turned, his expression one of curiosity rather than surprise. "I need to talk to you about a serious problem with my car," Mr. Anderson continued. "I've been dealing with this for weeks and no one has done anything to fix it. I'm starting to wonder if Tesla even cares about its customers anymore." The room grew noticeably quieter. Conversations paused, and all eyes turned toward the scene unfolding in the middle of the showroom. Musk, unfazed, met Mr. Anderson's gaze directly. His calm presence seemed to soften the tension just slightly, though the frustration in Mr. Anderson's tone still lingered heavily in the air. Musk nodded, gesturing for him to continue, his body language inviting rather than defensive. In that moment, the stage was set for an encounter that no one in the showroom would forget. As Mr. Anderson's voice rose, the lively hum of the showroom seemed to fade into silence. Customers paused their conversations, employees stopped mid-sentence, and all eyes turned toward the confrontation unfolding near the sleek Model S. The air felt heavy with tension, the stark contrast between Mr. Anderson's palpable frustration and Elon Musk's composed demeanor drawing everyone's attention. "This isn't just about a car," Mr. Anderson began, his voice trembling with emotion. "I trusted Tesla. I believed in your vision, in what this company stands for. But for weeks I've been dealing with the same issue, and no one seems to care enough to fix it." His words came fast, fueled by weeks of mounting disappointment. He described how the navigation system would fail unpredictably, leaving him stranded or delayed during important trips. He spoke about the repeated visits to the service center, the promises that went unfulfilled, and how he felt brushed aside despite being a loyal customer. The intensity of his words filled the space, his frustration raw and genuine. People exchanged glances, some sympathetic, others simply curious to see how Musk would respond. Musk, however, didn't flinch. His eyes stayed locked on Mr. Anderson's, his posture open and non-defensive. He nodded occasionally, silently acknowledging the gravity of what was being said without interrupting. As Mr. Anderson paused to catch his breath, Musk's calm voice broke the silence. "I'm sorry to hear you've had this experience," he said, his tone measured and genuine. "That's not the kind of relationship we want to have with our customers. Your trust in Tesla means everything to us, and I appreciate you taking the time to share this with me personally." The unexpected humility in Musk's response seemed to catch Mr. Anderson off guard. He had braced himself for defensiveness or excuses, but instead, Musk's acknowledgement disarmed him, diffusing some of the heat behind his frustration. The shift in the room was almost palpable. as those watching leaned in closer, intrigued by how this confrontation was unfolding. "What exactly has been happening with your car?" Musk asked, his voice steady. There was no rush or impatience in his tone, only genuine curiosity. He gestured for Mr. Anderson to continue, signaling that he was fully engaged and ready to listen. Mr. Anderson hesitated for a moment before detailing the technical issues again, this time in a calmer tone. As he spoke, Musk's attention never wavered. He nodded thoughtfully, occasionally asking clarifying questions. His body language conveyed not just empathy, but a hands-on interest in understanding the root of the problem. Musk's focus created a stark contrast to the fiery beginning of the exchange, gradually transforming the mood. By the time Mr. Anderson finished, the room felt different. The tension had given way to an air of expectation, as if everyone was waiting to see how Musk would address the situation. What had started as an angry confrontation now felt like the beginning of a genuine effort to find a solution. Elon Musk stood calmly as Mr. Anderson finished recounting the series of frustrations he had faced. Instead of shifting blame or giving a corporate response, Musk nodded thoughtfully and spoke with an unexpected warmth. "Thank you for bringing this to me directly," he said, his tone sincere. "Every customer's experience matters to me, and I can see how much this has impacted you. I'm sorry for the trouble it's caused." The simplicity and directness of Musk's apology surprised not just Mr. Anderson, but everyone in the room. There was no defensiveness, no attempt to justify or downplay the issue. Musk's words carried a humility that was rarely associated with high-profile leaders, and it immediately began to soften the tension in the air. Mr. Anderson, still holding on to his frustration, felt the sharp edge of his anger dull slightly. He hadn't expected this. Musk didn't stop there. "Can you walk me through exactly what's been happening with the car?" he asked, his curiosity evident. He pulled a notepad from his pocket, ready to jot down details, as though he were preparing for a team meeting rather than addressing a single customer complaint. His willingness to engage at this level caught Mr. Anderson off guard. For a moment, the older man hesitated, still processing the CEO's reaction, before nodding and explaining the issue again, this time in more detail. As Mr. Anderson spoke, Musk listened intently, occasionally asking questions to clarify or dig deeper into the root of the problem. "When exactly does the navigation glitch occur? Is it tied to specific driving conditions, or is it completely random?" he asked. His questions were sharp and thoughtful, demonstrating not just a desire to understand, but a genuine commitment to solving the issue. It was clear that Musk wasn't interested in passing this off to someone else. He wanted to ensure the problem was resolved. The room, which had been silent since the confrontation began, was now buzzing with low murmurs. Employees and customers exchanged surprised glances, clearly impressed by Musk's composed and empathetic handling of the situation. This wasn't the brash, larger-than-life figure often portrayed in the media. This was a leader who cared enough to step into the trenches and face challenges head-on. Mr. Anderson found himself softening further as Musk's approach became clear. The anger that had driven him to confront the CEO directly was now replaced by a cautious hope. "I just want to feel like Tesla cares about the people who support it," he said, his voice quieter than before. Musk looked him in the eye and replied without hesitation, "I do care, and I'll make sure we get this right, not just for you, but for everyone who could face the same issue." That simple, honest response shifted the tone entirely. What had begun as a heated confrontation was transforming into a productive and even inspiring exchange, with Musk's humility and genuine engagement leaving an indelible impression on everyone watching. Elon Musk turned to a nearby Tesla technician, gesturing for him to approach. "Can you take a look at Mr. Anderson's vehicle immediately?" he asked, his tone firm but polite. The technician nodded and headed out to the lot, carrying the tools needed for a detailed inspection. Musk's decisiveness was unmistakable. He wasn't about to let this issue linger any longer. "We'll get to the bottom of this right now," he assured Mr. Anderson, his gaze steady and reassuring. As the technician left to examine the car, Musk stayed with Mr. Anderson, continuing the conversation with genuine interest. "I'd like to know more about your overall experience with Tesla," he said. "What's worked well for you, and what do you think we could improve?" His approach wasn't just about fixing the immediate problem. It was about understanding the bigger picture and showing that every customer's perspective mattered. Mr. Anderson, still surprised by Musk's personal involvement, hesitated for a moment before answering. "Well," he began, his tone less confrontational than before, "I've always admired Tesla's mission. That's why I bought the car in the first place. Clean energy, Innovation. It's something I believe in, but honestly, it's been hard to feel valued as a customer when I've had to deal with this issue for so long. Musk nodded thoughtfully, his expression serious. I understand, he said. We can't achieve our mission without the trust and support of people like you, and when we fall short, it's on us to make it right. The sincerity in his voice was undeniable, and Mr. Anderson found himself softening further. The tension that had initially fueled their encounter was giving way to a shared understanding. While they waited for the technician's update, the conversation took a more personal turn. Musk asked Mr. Anderson about what had drawn him to Tesla and whether he'd always been interested in clean energy. As they talked, Mr. Anderson began to relax, opening up about his hopes for the future and his admiration for Tesla's role in shaping it. Musk listened intently, sharing his own thoughts on innovation and the challenges of creating sustainable change. What started as a heated confrontation began to feel like a genuine connection. The anger that had propelled Mr. Anderson into the showroom was replaced by a growing admiration for Musk's approach. It wasn't just his willingness to take action, but also his ability to engage personally and respectfully that left a lasting impression. When the technician returned, he provided a detailed explanation of the issue, outlining the steps needed to resolve it. Musk took notes, asking pointed questions to ensure the solution would be thorough and effective. Let's make this a priority, he instructed his team, ensuring Mr. Anderson would receive updates until the issue was completely resolved. As the conversation wound down, Mr. Anderson couldn't help but feel a shift in his perspective. Musk's proactive involvement and genuine engagement had transformed his frustration into something he hadn't expected: respect and a renewed belief in Tesla's mission. The technician stood beside Elon Musk, his hands holding a tablet with the diagnostic results. We've pinpointed the issue, he began, addressing both Musk and Mr. Anderson. It's a software glitch that seems to be triggered under specific conditions. We'll need to install an update to resolve it permanently. He went on to explain the next steps in detail, ensuring transparency and outlining how the fix would also improve the performance of other vehicles affected by the same problem. Musk listened carefully, occasionally interjecting with technical questions that demonstrated his deep understanding of the technology. His involvement wasn't performative, it was hands-on and practical. Turning to Mr. Anderson, he said, I want to personally apologize for the inconvenience this has caused. This is on us, and I'll make sure we not only fix your car, but also address this issue for every Tesla owner experiencing it. The sincerity in Musk's words struck a chord with everyone present. Mr. Anderson, who had arrived feeling dismissed and frustrated, now stood in quiet contemplation. Thank you, he said, his voice softer. I just didn't expect this. You've taken the time to listen and take action. That means more than you know. Musk wasn't done yet. We'll provide you with a temporary vehicle while your car is being repaired, he added, and we'll expedite the fix to get it back to you as quickly as possible. A Tesla employee stepped forward with the keys to a loaner vehicle, a sleek Model S. Mr. Anderson hesitated, then accepted them with a nod of gratitude. The offer was a tangible acknowledgement of his inconvenience and a clear message that Tesla valued his trust. Around them, the atmosphere in the showroom had shifted entirely. Where there had been tension and unease, there was now a sense of respect and even admiration. Witnesses murmured among themselves, impressed by Musk's humility and proactive approach. This is what leadership looks like, one customer whispered to another, nodding toward Musk. He could have handed this off to someone else, but he didn't. That's rare. Employees exchanged looks of quiet pride, clearly inspired by their CEO's example. Musk had not only addressed the issue, but had also turned a potentially damaging moment into an opportunity to reinforce Tesla's values. His actions spoke louder than any marketing campaign, showcasing a leadership style rooted in accountability and empathy. As the crowd gradually returned to their conversations, the energy in the room felt lighter, almost inspired. Mr. Anderson, now holding the keys to the loaner vehicle, extended his hand to Musk. I came here angry, he admitted, but you've shown me that you care. That makes all the difference. Musk shook his hand firmly, offering a small, genuine smile. We're grateful for your patience, he replied, and for reminding us why we're here, to serve our customers and keep improving. The moment was one of resolution and growth, leaving everyone who witnessed it with a renewed sense of what it means to lead with kindness and integrity. As Mr. Anderson stepped back from his conversation with Elon Musk, the change in his demeanor was evident. His frustration, which had driven him to confront Musk so publicly, had transformed into a quiet sense of gratitude. He glanced at the keys to the temporary Model S in his hand, and then back at Musk, a man he now saw not as a distant CEO, but as someone who genuinely cared about the people his company served. "I didn't expect any of this," Mr. Anderson said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I came in here ready to walk away from Tesla entirely. But your willingness to listen and take action, it's changed how I see not just this company, but you as a leader." The room, which had been bustling again as customers resumed their discussions, quieted slightly as people tuned in to his words. It was clear this moment had left an impression not just on him, but on everyone watching. Musk, as always, responded with humility. "I appreciate you bringing this to my attention," he said. "It's feedback like yours that helps us grow and improve. We're not perfect, but we're committed to getting better every day." His words, spoken with sincerity, resonated with the crowd. There was no air of defensiveness or corporate polish, just an honest acknowledgement of the responsibility Tesla bore as a company leading the charge toward a better future. As Mr. Anderson moved toward the temporary vehicle, other customers and employees began approaching Musk. Some shared their own experiences with Tesla, both the challenges and the triumphs. A young couple recounted how their Model 3 had become a symbol of their commitment to sustainability. An employee shared a story about how Musk's leadership had inspired him to pursue a career in clean energy. Each interaction, no matter how brief, seemed to reinforce the connection between Musk, Tesla, and the community it served. Musk listened intently to each person, offering thoughtful responses that ranged from practical advice to heartfelt appreciation. His ability to engage personally, even amid the chaos of the showroom, created a ripple effect of positivity. Customers left feeling heard, employees felt reaffirmed in their mission, and the room itself seemed lighter, filled with an unspoken acknowledgement that something meaningful had taken place. For Mr. Anderson, the experience was transformative. As he sat in the driver's seat of the loaner vehicle, he looked back at the showroom one last time. He no longer felt like just another customer navigating a corporate system. He felt seen and valued. Musk's actions had restored not only his trust in Tesla, but also his faith in the potential for leaders to act with genuine care and integrity. As the evening wound down and the showroom began to empty, Musk stood quietly by the Model S, where it had all begun. His expression was thoughtful, as though he were already considering the lessons from the day and how to apply them moving forward. For those who had witnessed the exchange, one thing was clear. This wasn't just about fixing a car. It was about leadership, connection, and the enduring power of kindness. As the days passed, the story of Elon Musk's calm and empathetic response to Mr. Anderson's confrontation began to spread. It started with a few customers who had witnessed the exchange, posting about the experience on social media. "I watched Elon Musk personally handle an angry customer with such grace and humility," one post read. "It wasn't just about fixing a car, it was about showing that leaders can still lead with kindness." The post quickly went viral, shared by thousands who were inspired by the unexpected humanity shown by one of the world's most high-profile innovators. News outlets picked up the story, framing it as an example of effective leadership in action. Headlines like "Elon Musk turns customer confrontation into a lesson in empathy," and "How Tesla's CEO restored faith in his brand," dominated online discussions. Comment sections buzzed with debates, praise, and personal anecdotes from Tesla customers who had experienced similar acts of attentiveness from the company. The narrative wasn't just about a car. It had become a symbol of how humility and kindness could transform even the most tense situations. Tesla didn't let the moment go to waste. Using feedback from Mr. Anderson's experience, the company quickly implemented system-wide improvements in its customer service processes. They introduced more robust diagnostic tools, streamlined issue reporting, and increased transparency in communication with customers experiencing technical problems. Tesla employees, inspired by Musk's actions, began to take even greater ownership of their roles, understanding the impact they could have on maintaining the company's values. For Mr. Anderson, the event marked a turning point. A few days after receiving his repaired vehicle, he posted about his experience on social media. "I was ready to give up on Tesla," he wrote, "but Elon Musk showed me what real leadership looks like. He didn't just fix my car, he restored my faith in the company. This is the kind of world we should be building, one where we listen, act, and care." His post garnered attention, sparking countless conversations about corporate accountability and customer care. The impact wasn't limited to Mr. Anderson or those who witnessed the event firsthand. Stories of Musk's actions inspired others in positions of power to rethink how they approached leadership. Business forums and leadership workshops began citing the incident as a case study in conflict resolution and the value of empathy in building trust. Back in the Tesla headquarters, Musk reflected on the day's events with a quiet sense of purpose. For him, it wasn't about the accolades or the headlines. It was about staying true to Tesla's mission. At the end of the day, he said to a colleague, we're here because of the people who believe in us. If we don't honor that trust, then what's the point of any of this? The incident became a defining moment, a testament to how a simple act of listening and taking responsibility could ripple outward, touching countless lives. In the end, it wasn't just about solving a problem. It was about reinforcing a vision of a better future, one built on integrity, connection, and the power of kindness. This story shows the transformative power of kindness and humility, even in the face of frustration. Elon Musk's reaction turned a potential conflict into an inspiring moment of connection and leadership. It's a reminder that listening, caring, and taking action can create ripples of positive change. What would you have done if you were in Mr. Anderson's shoes, or Elon Musk's? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on moments that redefine what leadership truly means.